All right, so this is going to be a really fun video because we're talking about how to increase the valuation for an Amazon FBA sale. So this is in a series of playlists here. So if you haven't watched our previous video, that's talking about the 4 pillars that make up that valuation. So you can understand how a valuation on an Amazon FBA business is created. But Ryan Condie here of Quiet Light Brokerages and M&A advisor, very experienced with FBA businesses, is going to walk us through how you actually increase that valuation. So Ryan, when you're thinking about this question, what are some of the first things that come to mind?
Yeah, good question. So at the end of the day, building an FBA business is similar to building any other type of business. You address the 4 pillars of value. We want to focus on those key metrics too, right? Risk, growth, transferability, and documentation. And as you think about building your Amazon FBA business, one of the key things that is critical across the board is differentiated products. Do you have unique products? Do you have a unique selling position? Do you have trademarks? Do you have patents? Trademarks are a must. Patents are like, hey, the next level, right? Do you have patents? Have you gone through those legal battles to be able to do that? Do you have efficient operations or streamlined supply chain? It used to be that you could automatically send shipment in directly into Amazon. You can't do that anymore, but there are some sellers who've been able to figure that out and streamline their operations. So all those pieces will come in and be a critical piece to getting a higher multiple. And if you think about, you take your seller hat off, put your buyer hat on and say, hey, what do I want in a business? And you want differentiated products. You want a streamlined supply chain. You want trademarks. You want any sort of moat that can be defended from there.
I do have a quick question on that.
Oh, go ahead.
Not to cut you off. How do you think about that in terms of a business though? Because if let's say you're an FBA business owner and you're like, I think I might have a case for a trademark, but I might have a case for a patent. Like, how would you weigh that decision for somebody? Because that's not a process that takes like a week to happen, right? It's going to cost a good amount of money. It takes some time. What's your advice to somebody who's maybe in that mindset of like, should I pursue that? Yeah,
great question. And I'm not an attorney or patent attorney. I always say, if you think you do, just start with some Googling, right? Because you can go into the patent office trademark search and just search for those things and see what's out there and see what's differentiated. And there are patent attorneys that I would reach out to that are specialized in that area. If you think you have a decent case or you've invented the product yourself, if you're getting a widget and slapping your logo on it, you probably don't go through and get a patented trademark. Those are still great businesses, and you can have a lot of reviews and a defensible moat, but you're probably not going to want to go down the patent route. I would recommend talking to a patent attorney if you feel like you've got something unique that's not out there.
Okay. What else do you think of in terms of like how to increase the FBA multiple besides what we've already discussed? Yeah, and one of the main other things that you're going to look at is the key metric of just growth and trends, right? Is your business going up? Is it going down? Is it steady? Is it stable? Do you have a lot of years in there? If you started your business 2 years ago, people are just not going to value the business as high if you'd been selling on Amazon for 7 years and you have 7 years of reviews and data. When we talked about timing in a couple of videos ago, though, Eric, and when you think about selling your business, you still want to sell on the up and up, right? Like you're still growing and the trends are up. If you started to plateau, it makes it really tricky. But if you've got 7 years of history, you're fine. But if you've plateaued and you've only got 2 years of history, buyers are going to see that as sort of a red flag. And then, of course, when you think about going down, if you're starting to trend down, it's going to hurt your multiple. And that's a big thing when you're not trying to increase your Amazon FBA business. The final piece that I run into the most, this is the most common thing, is you need to have clean financials. So you need to do your books on an accrual basis. What that means is from an inventory perspective, you're putting the inventory on your P&L, your profit and loss, when you actually sell that product rather than when you buy it. Okay. What that means is if you are growing and you're ending the inventory at the end of the year with a lot more inventory than when you started the year, it'll look like you lost a lot of money, right? It's not a good way to value your business. It's not the correct way. You're going to leave a lot of money on the table. So you need to have clean and well-kept financials. And if you aren't having a true bookkeeper do your financials at a certain point, you're going to lose a lot of money on the table. Your aunt might know how to do books, but it's very different than the dry cleaners or whatever, car repair shop that she was working with before. So it is worth spending $200-300 a month after you hit a certain size to get a good bookkeeper who's familiar with Amazon. And happy we can link to those in the show notes too and provide resources for them. Yeah. And I think also just from a different perspective too, like, and this is more personally for me, but like, I didn't get into business because I want to keep books. So yes, it is, a pain to pay that $200-300 a month. And you're like, well, I could just do that myself. It's like, no, take that stuff, get it off your plate, focus on the things that give you energy, that grow the business, not, managing the admin of the business.
Yeah, you nailed it. Everybody wants to save $200 a month because then it's $2,400 for the year. But at a certain size, your opportunities for growth are probably significantly more than trying to save $200 a month. And then also you're doing it incorrectly. So if you have a good bookkeeper, that $200 a month is going to pay for itself 5x, 10x, 20x over and over again.
Okay. What I want to talk about in the next business is when you go to sell, like there's so many different options. There's online business brokerages. There's so many different places you can go to sell. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a run through of how to approach that, what to think about when you're actually looking at listing your business. So check us out in the next video as we run through that, and we'll catch you in the next video.